What better way for a son and father to bond over than their mutual love for the Dallas Cowboys? Hi, I'm Michael Davis with my dad, Mack. We're a star-studded son and dad duo on the star-studded Cowboys Network, powered by Fans First Sports Network and Boom Broadcasting. And this is Dad and the Guys, thank you for joining us today on Dad and the Boys. It's the Dallas Cowboys and the Atlanta Falcons this week. Falcons doing pretty good with Captain Kirk, but the Cowboys, no stranger to Kirk Cousins. And so we're going to preview this game. And, of course, after our commercial break, we'll give you the one-star matchup, the score prediction. But we'll put that San Fran game behind us, move on to Kirk and the Atlanta Falcons. Dad, when I look at this game, it's almost twofold. Like, I'm a little afraid of Bijan Robinson in that run game, but at the same time, in years past, Kirk Cousins has been playing really well, and then the Cowboys have done something to hinder him. And Mike Zimmer has familiarity with Kirk Cousins, so that could bode well for Dallas in this instance.
Well, I'm hoping it does. Hopefully Zim will use that knowledge to help thwart his efforts, because Kirk Cousins has been playing good. He's been obviously a bright signing for the Falcons this year. We're facing Bijan. I wanted him in Dallas when he was drafted. Unfortunately, that just didn't happen. But it's going to be a tough game nonetheless. I really don't know what it's going to hold. I do know that Kirk Cousins, we do have familiarity with him. He's 2-8 versus the Cowboys throughout his career. Mike McCarthy, since he's been a Cowboys coach, is 2-0 against the Falcons as an organization. So how does this one play out?
And you got to note, the Cowboys have struggled last couple games they've had. Falcons, I don't know if many people thought they were going to be 5-3 at this point, let alone win 5 games the entire year. But it's going to be a game. People should not look past this game when it comes to the Cowboys and the Falcons. Cowboys kind of ranging around the middle of the pack when it comes to yards per game. And the Atlanta Falcons ranking up in the top 10. But when it comes to defense, the Atlanta Falcons are middle of the pack. Cowboys a little further down on the defensive side. So it might be a mismatch when it comes to the Cowboys defensively versus Atlanta offensively. But we haven't had a lot of our guys. And still, as we're doing this episode right now, we don't know if Micah Parsons will be able to suit up, if Trayvon Diggs will be able to suit up.
DaRon Bland,
we've been waiting on. So it honestly, it's not all doom and gloom. It looks like help is on the way.
Will it arrive this weekend? And I fully get it. And in the case of DaRon Bland, there's been a lot of optimism because, Dallas activated him to the active roster. That was a formality. Either he was going to be activated since they did his practice window, or he was going to have to go on IR for the remainder of the year if he didn't come to the active roster. Of course, the young quarterback that had done a little bit of decent purpose got put on IR when they activated him. I'm not for sure what that was about, if what the injury was for
You're not talking about Oruwari, eh?
Yes, I am. He got put on IR. So I'm not for sure what the injury was when he was placed on IR because it was back. So, because he had played relatively well, and the fact that they chose to put him on injured reserve versus maybe doing something with Booth, who has struggled to get onto the field and produce while he's on there. So hopefully DaRon will be able to get suited up real quickly. So
it'd be tough. Like Trayvon, and Trayvon was on Micah Parsons' podcast this past week, and they were talking about, how much talent they had on defense. But, and there's no excuses, because sometimes it is like, hey, just mismatch or, a tougher schedule. But at the same time, you want just a tad bit more effort from especially the star players who are suiting up. But if you looked at me and you're like, hey, Trayvon Diggs, with a calf injury, he's not 100%. Stephon Gilmore, he's in Minnesota. Deron Bland, he's been out all year. Those are your top three corners from last year. And now you got Jordan Lewis, who's been playing really well.
Jordan has played well. And across the board with the injuries and instituting younger players and stuff, that often puts guys wanting to play hero ball.
Yeah.
And we've heard it said throughout the season, rather than do your assignment, do your job, stay disciplined. And hero ball, it can make a splash play, but it can also result in the ball going the other way, unfortunately. It's not always the best decision. It's not playing it smart. Like McCarthy said this past week, every series that you have as a football team on offense should end in a kick, either a extra point, preferably a field goal, or a punt at the least. And what he's saying makes sense, because guess what? If you're at least punting the ball, you're not giving them a short field on a turnover.
That's fair. That's fair.
You're not fumbling the ball. You're not throwing an interception. And the one stat that historically has best translated above offense and defensive rankings to records is turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
And you look where we've been the last few years in turnovers, and now you look where we're at this year, and you see why we're 3-4.
Yeah, which, in and of itself isn't, the end of the world, but you see Washington and Philly moving up statistically with records. You look at the NFC North basically taking over the entire wild card spot at -8, which is the third worst, only to the Raiders and Titans when it comes to turnover differential. And you're talking about what it's looked like in years past. Last year we were at +10. We were just outside, or we were actually in the top 5, along with Cincinnati, Houston, San Fran, when it comes to turnover differential. Yeah. It makes a difference.
It does. You're giving your offense a short field usually. Now, granted, those may come in red zone, and you're stopping the score. That's a plus. So you're making your offense not have to work as far, or you're getting the ball on your other team's side of the field, and so you're giving them a short field to work with. And you know what? If you're Dallas Cowboys and you're protecting the ball and you get the turnovers, guess what? If you get it on our side of the field, you're stopping points from them. That's a positive. If you get it on their side of the ball, you're giving us points, because Brandon Aubrey's good. You get it in midfield, he's good. We got 3. Don't mess it up. And a lot of it is pressing. And there again, when you're sitting there and it starts steamrolling like it did in the third quarter last week.
21 unanswered.
It starts steamrolling. And then the next thing you know, you're pressing the ball trying to get something going. And it just seems like it doesn't work. A turnover here, a turnover there. And it's just playing complementary football across the board. And that's what it's going to take to turn this season around.
Yeah. And I'm hoping it's a good turnaround, and that starts this time. We talked this past Tuesday about, get right games. Well, I hope this is a get right game for the Cowboys, using that familiarity with Kirk Cousins, using that record for Mike McCarthy against Atlanta Falcons teams. But it'll come down to a 1-star matchup, Dad. And we're going to give you guys our 1-star matchup that will help the Cowboys beat the Atlanta Falcons this weekend right after a quick commercial break on Fans First Sports Network and Boom Broadcasting. However you're consuming us right now, we'll give you that one-star matchup and a final score prediction right after this break. Welcome back to Dad and the Boys on Fans First Sports Network on Boom Broadcasting, brought to you by the star-studded Cowboys Network. Guys, we appreciate you taking time out of your day, out of your Friday. You know, maybe you had some nice candy consumed from Halloween last night. You know, maybe you partied a little too late and asked for the day off on Friday, knew you were going to be sick ahead of time. That's not us. We still are giving you content right now. Dad and the Boys right now dropping at 3 out of pocket. We'll be back at 5:30 today to talk some of the NFL and college football stuff coming ahead this weekend. And Starstruck's coming back tomorrow, right, Dad?
That's correct. Yep, and we're still working on our countdown of top 100 players in my all-time fan list. Cooper Beebe, I know I've already addressed you, but you know that you are moving up as people move down.
As people move down, Beebe moves up. And Dad, this Cowboys-Falcons game, I hope we move up the standings as it comes to the playoff picture. Dad, this is a pivotal game. One of my favorite memories is going to my first ever Cowboys game in Atlanta. We won on a last-second field goal, but to win a game, we need a one-star matchup. And if this is your first time joining us, that means it's a position versus a position, a player versus a player, a coach versus a coach that will help the Cowboys be victorious this weekend. Dad, what is your one-star matchup?
Can I cheat?
I mean, you've cheated before.
Well,
whatever.
I mean, I'm going to do a 2 one-star matchups.
Okay.
You'll get this one. You'll like this. Okay, so if you watched earlier in the week as we were coming off the San Francisco debacle, you heard my reaction to that. And my first one-star matchup goes to Neil, who lives in Concord or works in the Concord office. And I was visiting it this past Wednesday. And Neil kind of did a fan versus fan one-star matchup.
Okay.
He kind of got me back on track.
Okay.
Getting my optimism back for the Cowboys, baby. And I appreciate that, my friend. I hope you're listening. And remember to subscribe to Boom Broadcasting. And Neil and the rest of you out there, if you're watching, we're going to be giving you a link so you can go get your stuff at Fanatics.
Yep.
Through Boom Broadcasting. Help support the guys here on the network. And also, my number one-star matchup, player versus player. I'll be honest, I do not follow the Atlanta Falcons. They're a team that, you know, we don't play them often. They're not in our division. So I'm not necessarily familiar with their players and don't care. Okay? My one-star matchup is Terrence Steele. Whoever is lined up against you, my friend.
Matt Judon.
I don't care who it is. All right.
Oh, no. It's Matt Judon.
My friend, Terrence Steele. Son, you've not had a good year. There's already reports coming out, guesstimates, that this coming off season, you're going to be a cap cut, son. You're going to be looking for employment elsewhere. And you're not putting good tape on the line for anybody. Now, you couple that with the fact that if the Cowboys cut you outright, it's $4 million plus. If they wait till June 1st to be a post June 1st cut, $14 million. You got to put on tape in this game against Matthew Judon or whoever you're facing. I don't care who's against you. It can be 3 guys against you, my friend. But you got to give the Cowboys a reason to pay you that $5 million, that $14 million against the rest of your salary over the next few years. You've got to do something to give them an incentive, because right now you're not doing it. Now, a few years back, we had the Atlanta game early in Dak's career, and it wasn't good, my friend. Chaz Green. Do not be the next Chaz Green. And I know that brings back harsh memories.
Yeah, I'd rather.
The day after Halloween, I done scared you more than those boogers did on last night. Thinking of Chaz Green. Whew, what a name. And by the way, Chaz, you're not in the top 100, in case you're wondering, my friend.
He's wondering.
Terrence,
he's wondering.
You're trying to get yourself in that top 100. Start this Sunday. Prove them wrong. Show them what you got, my friend. You're still a Cowboy right now, but I want you to be a Cowboy next year. You want to be a Cowboy next year. Because right now, 32 teams wouldn't hire you.
I wouldn't.
You know, the rookie's playing better than you. This has been a bad year for you. Fix it. This Sunday starts your resurrection tour. Resurrect your career. And you are my one-star matchup. You've got to do it in order for us to have a chance at winning.
Well, I've called out Terrence Steele enough, and it hasn't worked. So Dad took it from me. Hopefully that's better. And if it works this time, I want you to do that for your one-star matchup every week because he might need it. Matthew Judon not going to be easy, or even Grady Jarrett because they run a 3-4 defense out in Atlanta.
Who's their other linebacker? Because he's going to probably be facing linebackers.
Matt Judon, Kaden Ellis,
Troy Anderson,
and James Smith-Williams. It's
James Smith-Williams or Angela Malone.
Yeah.
Who are they? I don't know. I mean, and I don't want to know them. That make me not know them.
Make them not know them. My one-star matchup is somebody I've also been critical of. We said we needed to have some beef up in that interior defensive line to make it easier for our linebackers to get off blocks. We're playing Bijan Robinson, who has the potential to torch us on the ground attack. And so I really miss Jonathan Hankins. I really miss Hankins. I miss Van Der Esch. But Mozzie, you're going to have to be that dude. You're going to have to get pressure on their interior offensive lineman. You're going to have to push their center, Ryan Newsel, back into the backfield, cause havoc for Kirk Cousins. Make sure Bijan Robinson isn't entirely running up the gut, because if they do, and if he's getting 4, 5, 6 yards a clip, it's game over. Mozzie, we need you to stop the run, force Kirk Cousins to have second and third and long. And Mozzie, if you do that, I have a good feeling about this game, which brings us to our final score prediction, Dad. You've had a few days to sit on it. I know you had tradition going. Are you sticking with that tradition with the trajectory of the Cowboys?
Well, if you watch Out of Pocket at all, and when they get talking basketball, you hear and you know who my favorite all-time basketball player is. It's the Birdman, Larry Bird. And they asked Larry Bird, they said, Larry, why don't you dunk? He said, because threes add more. And just like Larry says, threes are adding more. And just like when you went, threes added more. And I put full faith in Brandon Aubrey. Three's going to add more. This week, we're winning by 3. Thank you, Neil, for getting me back on track.
So you didn't do Cowboys by 1.
I'm taking them by 3.
Wow. That's That's a shocker. I mean, earlier this week he shocked me. Today he shocked me. Dad's full of surprises when it comes to Dad and the boys. For me, I know I've picked against Dallas, against Detroit. I know I picked against Dallas, against Baltimore.
And San Fran.
And San Fran.
That trend ain't working for you, son.
So I'm going to switch it up, and I'm going to be legitimate in this. I think the Cowboys win this game, not by 3, but don't hate me. I'm going to take the Cowboys by 1. I'm going to steal a page out of your book.
That'll work.
Because
he's hanging on by a thread in his family.
Yeah, my adoption papers haven't processed yet, which is why we can still do our 26th episode of Dad and the Boys. But one of my favorite memories is my first Cowboys game. It ended on that last second field goal. Brett Maher, I believe. I think it was
Maher.
I believe it was Brett Maher. And so I think it's going to be a very similar story this Sunday when Brandon Aubrey kicks a game-winning field goal.
And so if they're running with Bijan a little bit, our boy CD, him and Dak started to connect last game.
Which I think, if they continue that,
it is a passing league.
But you still got to stop the run, Mozzie. Don't take that for granted. You got to stop the run. Because I don't want to just watch Bijan.
And you know what? And in all honesty, if you look back at that game that Dallas played in that first half, they were stopping the run until they inserted that little rookie in there.
Garindo.
Dallas was stopping the run. That was the player, him and the quarterback running the ball a few times. That was who they could not stop running the ball.
That is true.
They stopped Mason or whatever his name is.
Jordan Mason.
They did stop him. So there is hope for life there. We just need to get some guys healthy. Come on back. And start this run. Get it back.
And hopefully that does help us. And hopefully you'll give an injury report too on Starstruck this week.
I'm hoping to have an updated injury report when we do Starstruck on Saturday. So hopefully we'll find out some more information, see where we're at. I'd love to see number 11 back on the field. Whether he'll get there or not, I don't know.
And I think 26 being on that field is important too.
And 7 as well. We don't need to swap out 26 for 7. We need you both.
We need you guys. We appreciate you guys, and we appreciate the support on Boom Broadcasting and Fans First Sports Network. Guys, we're going to go ahead and let you return to your regularly scheduled lives. Don't forget Out of Pocket tonight at 5:30. Don't forget Starstruck at 3 tomorrow. Guys, thank you.
Be the elite. The elite.
The elite. Thank you for watching Dad and the Boys on Boom Broadcasting, for listening to us on Fans First Sports Network. Guys, remember, this isn't our first rodeo. We'll catch you here next time.